So I just got an email of an amazing question of a really, really cool misconception that often happens when we have decimals. So what I decided to do, because I know that many of you are probably having this exact same misconception, is I'm going to walk you through this idea. And so one of our students emailed me and said, having trouble with a question on Woot Math. The question is, you are playing the game Fill 2. You get the cards 6/10 and 25/100. What is your total? Now, this student got the answer of 31/100, right? But now it's telling her she's wrong. So when we look at this, we got 6/10, and then we also got, 25/100. All right, we know that essentially what we're doing is we're finding the sum of these two. And so why is the answer not 31/100? All right, so I'll tell you why. So the reason is we have to think about that idea of place value with decimals, okay? So when I look at my first number, I have 6/10. And then here I have 2/10 and 5/100. So instead of thinking about just as whole numbers, because I have to remember, if I talk about 6/10, that means I have 6 dimes or 6/10s, right? Not essentially a 10, but 6/10. So I don't just have 6, I essentially have 60/100. All right. So I have 25/100 and I have 60/100. Okay. But what would this look like? So when we look at our hundredths grid, I have 6/10. So I'm going to fill in 6/10 because I know each one is 10. All right, so I've got 1/10, 2, 3. Man, I wish this would move a lot faster. 4, 5. I hope you guys like my partial singing. And 6. That right there is 6/10, right? So we got to think about these. Tenths, this is 100th, okay? Dimes, pennies, okay? And then I have 2/10 in this number because I can see the 2 right in here, okay? So I have 2 more tenths to add in. So I'm going to add in 2 more tenths. And 1/10. And a 2/10. And then I have 5/100 because there's 5 in that spot. So I got 1, 2, bothers me so much when they're not right in the middle. 3, 4, I'm getting good at this, and 5. So I had the cards 6/10 and 25/100. The 6 are right there in blue, 6/10. And then I have 2/100 from the second number, and then I have 5. So what I can do is I can count them together. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/10 and 5/100. So not being 31, I actually have, I should probably stop using this giant fat marker. I actually have 6/10 plus 2/10 is 8/10. So I have 80, probably should move myself out of the way, 5/100. Okay, so that's why place value is so important in decimals, is because it's, even though I think and I just see a 6, it's why when people stack and they're like, oh, I carried the 1, and we're like, it's not a 1, it's a 10, right? When I see that number right here in that first place value, that means I have 6/10, not 6 like single one, 6/100, 6/10. So I have to think of that as that whole row. So I hope this was able to help you with that misconception. If you have more questions or you're still like, what? Doesn't even make any sense. Not a problem. I would love to help you figure out that. And I'm glad to talk to so many of you today. All right.